Hi, Story Gordon here. How's it going? Me too. It's going. It's going great. When a speaker asks me how they could be an influence to an audience, my response is, how can you not? Think about it. Think about the times you have sat in an audience listening to a speaker. You're being influenced. It doesn't matter what they're saying, how good it is, how bad it is, how much you agree with it or disagree with it. You are being influenced. Why do I say that? Consider the word influence. If you go to the OED, the Oxford English Dictionary, which many consider to be the cornerstone of definitions, it says this, and I quote, "Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the character, development, or behavior of someone or something, or the effect itself." If I am speaking to an audience of 100, I'm really speaking to 100 audiences, because every person in the audience is going to be influenced in a different way. Why? Because each of us live our lives based on a worldview. Our worldview is essentially this. Another definition. This is mine. Worldview, a noun meaning one's spectrum of perception, from knowledge to beliefs, with countless in-between opinions, or opinions in between. So our worldview consists of our knowledge, our opinions, and our beliefs. And if we have self-confidence, we hold each of these or all of them as truths. Not true in that they can be proven, but true in that this is how we see it. Knowledge, what we know with enough certainty and enough evidence to support it. Beliefs, what we hold as true, although there is no objective or formal evidence to prove it. And in between, opinions. Opinions we hold with enough evidence to hold that as the way to see things. I can inform someone's knowledge. And if they disagree, I can support my view with enough evidence to be convincing, unless they just object no matter what. And there are people out there for whom facts have no meaning. On the other hand, beliefs. What I believe has no direct evidence to support it. Most of us have had beliefs through our lives that changed and became opinions. Opinions are what we hold as true because we have enough evidence and strong enough beliefs to see something as being proper. We have opinions about everything. Our views of sport teams, minimum wage, taxes, love, relationships, parenting, leadership, management, speaking. And what you're seeing here is my opinion of what it takes to influence an audience. So I can inform someone's knowledge. I can proselytize their beliefs because I can't prove a belief, so I have to proselytize the belief. But in the middle, opinions are open to persuasion. I've been persuaded to change many of my opinions. I grew up in a society that was somewhat racist, anti-Semitic, masculine. I've changed my views. I have different views today. Why? Because I have been persuaded through additional evidence and by the views of others I trusted. Here are two ways to persuade people, both of them from Bill Gove, who was a Dutch uncle to me, if you will, in the 90s. He had two models that he liked to use, the vignette, and he had a story model. The vignette is used to persuade directly, basically to say, here's how I see it, here's why I see it that way, and here's what it does for me. He called those 3 points the premise, the problem, and the payoff. In my case, much of my life could be stated using Gove's vignette. For example, I might start with a premise that says, early in my life, in my junior year in high school, I decided I was going to be a success by becoming a high school math and science teacher. That's my premise. The problem with that is when I got to college, I wasn't ready. And in college, I did not do well. So I dropped out of college, joined the Air Force, married my high school sweetheart, realized that if I was going to be successful at anything, I needed to apply myself to become more disciplined, which I did. And I did it so well that I became a technical instructor. That became the path of my life, speaking, teaching, explaining. The payoff is basically I learned that focusing and concentrating on what was at hand was a way to success. So that's the vignette. His story model's a little different. The story model has 4 parts. He said he learned this through his attending AA meetings. Bill wasn't an alcoholic, but he had family members who were, and he attended AA meetings. Said he heard some bad speakers in AA, but never heard a bad speech because he used this model to illustrate. 4 steps. This is who I was. This is what happened. This is what I did about it. And here's who I am now. It can be used in my same vignette that I used by approaching it this way. I was a high school student eager to become a high school math and science teacher. That's who I was. I went off to college and failed. That's what happened. I joined the Air Force, married my high school sweetheart, applied myself, and succeeded. Who I became was a serious speaker. But there you have it, the 2 models. Gove's vignette for persuading and Gove's story model for persuading. Each persuades in a different way. Here's my simple mantra. When it comes to developing material I want to deliver, speak to others the way you want them to speak to you. When I create material, I try to do so with the idea that I'm going to be in the audience. The reason I do that is because I think an audience, even if they don't agree with your point of view, will appreciate the fact that you are giving an honest effort in delivering what it is you truly see as the better point of view. There'll be future clips with examples of vignettes and stories. But that's it for this one. Thanks for stopping by. This is Story Gordon saying, hope you find the best in your speaking quest.